My name is Arlo Bennett. In my family, we have a saying, "You protect the table." It means you guard the peace, the sanctity, of those you break bread with. For 30 years, I protected my son's place at my table. Last year, he called to say his fiancée, Nia, was uncomfortable with me, that my presence would disrupt their peace. He was protecting her table by removing me from mine. So I accepted, without a word of argument, because in my world, when someone shows you the new rules, you don't protest. You learn them, and then you play a better game. My Christmas alone wasn't sad. It was silent, and in that silence, I listened to old voicemails, to stories from people who've known Nia's family for decades. I learned about their unspoken rule: assimilation or eradication. You either become exactly like them, or you are removed from the picture. My son, Cody, is assimilating. He's changing his speech, his politics, even the way he holds his fork. He's not choosing a wife, he's undergoing an identity merger. And my role? I'm the original blueprint, the one you have to delete before you install the new software. But blueprints have copies, and I've just received a package from a private courier. Inside is a key to a storage locker in his old college town. The label, in his teenage handwriting, reads, "Real stuff, do not let Nia see." I need my own table. Where are you sitting right now? Tell me your city in the comments. Let's build a new community, one that doesn't remove people for asking questions. To my core subscribers, you are my inner circle. Thank you. If you're new and you believe some tables are worth flipping, not just leaving, like, subscribe and hit that bell like you're sounding a gavel. This isn't about getting invited back. It's about revealing what's really on the menu. The locker opens next. Now, let me tell you my story. December 18th, 6:47 in the evening. I remember because I was watching the clock, waiting for the roast to finish. Cody was supposed to call at 7 to confirm Christmas plans. He called 13 minutes early. That should have been my first clue. "Hey, Dad." His voice had that careful quality, like he was reading from a script someone else had written. "Got a minute?" I turned down the oven, wiped my hands on the dish towel, the one his mother had embroidered with little cardinals. "Always got time for you, son. You calling about what time you're coming Christmas Eve or Christmas morning?" Silence, the kind that has weight. "Actually, Dad, that's what I wanted to talk about." He cleared his throat. Professional. Distant. "Nia and I have been discussing it, and we think it's best if we spend Christmas at her parents' place this year. Just the two of us, with her family." I sat down at the kitchen table. My legs made that decision without consulting me. "Okay," I said slowly. "That's fine. Maybe I can drive up the day after? Bring your gifts over? We could do breakfast at that diner you like near—" "Dad." He cut me off, gentle but firm. "Nia isn't comfortable with that right now." Those 4 words. I pulled them apart 1,000 times since, examined them from every angle like a jeweler looking for flaws in a diamond. "Comfortable?" I heard my voice crack, hated myself for it. "Cody, what does that mean? Did I do something? Say something?" "It's not. It's complicated." "Then uncomplicate it for me." Another silence. I heard a voice in the background. Female. Couldn't make out the words, but the tone was clear. "Hurry this up. She just needs some space. From the situation. It's not personal, Dad." Not personal. As if the rejection of a father by his only son could somehow be categorized as anything but personal. "What situation?" My hand gripped the edge of the table. "Cody, I've seen you 3 times this year. Thanksgiving you stayed for 2 hours. Before that, it was that Sunday brunch in October where Nia had a migraine and you left early. Before that, this is exactly what I'm talking about." His voice hardened. "This keeping score thing. Nia finds it intense." Intense. I turned that word over in my mind, wondered when showing up for your child became intense instead of loving. I'm not keeping score. I'm trying to understand what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just better this way. Easier. Easier. For whom, I wanted to ask, but I didn't, because I knew. Easier for him. Easier than having difficult conversations. Easier than standing between his fiancée's comfort and his father's exclusion, and choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. My late wife used to say I thought in military terms. 23 years in the Army will do that to you. But she was right. In that moment, I saw it clearly. My son was choosing the path of the least resistance, and I was the resistance. Okay, I said, just that. Okay. Dad, it's fine, Cody. You do what you need to do. Tell Nia I hope she has a wonderful Christmas. I'll call you. Maybe New Year's we can… Sure, whenever works. The phone call ended. 47 seconds, start to finish. I checked later, looked at my call log like it was evidence in a case I didn't know I was building. I sat at that table for an hour. The roast burned. The smoke detector went off. I didn't move. In the Army, they teach you about acceptable losses, casualties that are unfortunate but necessary to achieve the mission objective. I never thought I'd become one, not to my own son. The gifts were already wrapped. I'd bought Cody a vintage record player. He'd been talking about getting into vinyl. For Nia, a first edition of her favorite novel. I'd spent 3 weeks tracking it down through rare bookshops. They sat under my tree, wrapped in paper covered in silver bells. I didn't unwrap them, didn't return them. I left them there, under that tree, like grave markers for a relationship I didn't know had died. That was the last normal moment I had. Because what came next showed me that my son's phone call wasn't a decision. It was a symptom. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I did what any father in denial does. I looked for evidence that I was wrong, that I'd misunderstood, that my son still loved me. I opened Facebook. Big mistake. Cody's page had changed. I'd noticed it gradually over the past year, but seeing it all at once in my wounded state was like watching a time-lapse of an erasure. The cover photo used to be the two of us at his college graduation. Now it was him and Nia at some vineyard, her hand on his chest, both of them laughing at something outside the frame. I scrolled down. October. Grateful for my chosen family. Photo of Nia's parents, her sister Nova, her grandmother Stella. Thanksgiving table, 15 people. Not one of them me. September. Learning that growth means leaving behind what no longer serves you. No photo, just text. But I knew what that meant. Who that meant. August. Nia taught me that family isn't obligation. It's peace. I sat there, bathed in blue screen light, reading my own eulogy written in inspirational quotes and carefully curated images. But it was the photo from last Christmas that broke something in me. I'd spent Christmas Eve at their apartment, brought a honey-baked ham, made my mother's sweet potato casserole. Nia had said she wasn't feeling well, stayed in the bedroom most of the night. Cody and I watched A Christmas Story and drank eggnog. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. I'd taken a selfie, the two of us on the couch, Santa hats on, my arm around his shoulder. He'd posted it that night. Merry Christmas from our little family. I searched for that post, scrolled back through 13 months of content. Gone. Not hidden. Not archived. Deleted. Every photo of me had been systematically removed. I checked the albums. Family memories. Nothing before his engagement. Throwbacks. Started at age 22, his first year with Nia. Favorites. I didn't exist. But the comments. God, the comments were still there. Ghosts of a relationship. Under a photo of him and Nia hiking. Looks like a great day. Dad. With a thumbs-up emoji. His response, still visible. Thanks. Under his engagement announcement. So proud of the man you've become. Mom would be too. His response, heart emoji. My words were there. His responses were there. But the context, the photos that proved I'd been part of his life, were gone. I was becoming a memory he was actively trying to forget. I closed Facebook, opened Instagram. Same story. Twitter, he'd stopped posting, but the bio had changed. Used to say, son, teacher, whiskey enthusiast. Now, educator, future husband, building a life of intention. Son. He'd removed son. My phone buzzed. Text from my brother Dean. Saw Cody posted about Christmas at Nia's parents' place. You good? I stared at that message. Thought about what to say. The truth? That my son had uninvited me from Christmas and then posted about his replacement family for the world to see? All good, I typed back. Different plans this year. The lie tasted like ash. I got up, walked to the living room. The Christmas tree was still there, lights blinking in mindless repetition. The gifts underneath. The stockings hung by the fireplace. One for me, one for Cody, one for future daughter-in-law, because I'd tried. God, I'd tried. I poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon, sat in my armchair, the same chair where I'd rocked Cody as a baby when he had colic, where I'd read him Harry Potter when he was 8, where I'd sat, awake, every night of his senior year, waiting to hear his car pull in the driveway so I knew he was safe. This chair had memories, but memories apparently could be deleted. I pulled out my phone one more time, looked at Cody's Instagram story, a feature that disappears after 24 hours. Temporary, disposable. He'd posted a photo 2 hours ago. Nia's parents' house, decorated within an inch of its life. Caption: Can't wait to make new traditions with my real family. Real family. I took a screenshot. Not because I wanted to remember, because I knew, someday, I might need proof that this actually happened, that I didn't imagine my own erasure. I finished the bourbon. Then I did something I hadn't done since my wife's funeral. I cried, not loud, not dramatic, just silent tears that fell into an empty glass in an empty house on the longest night of winter. But here's the thing about hitting bottom. The only direction left is up, and I was about to get a phone call that changed everything. Hit that like button. If you've ever seen your own life erased in real time. The next chapter is where I stopped being a victim and started gathering evidence. The mysterious package? It's about to get opened. Subscribe now. The call came at 2:17 in the morning. Christmas Day. I was still awake, still in that chair, the bourbon bottle now half empty beside me, though I'd stopped drinking an hour before, just holding the glass, watching the ice melt. Unknown number. Local area code. In my experience, calls at 2 a.m. are never good news. Someone's dead, arrested, or in the hospital. I answered, expecting the worst. Mr. Bennett? Female voice, young, nervous. Speaking. My name is Hope Castellano. I'm Nia's cousin. She paused. I heard traffic in the background. She was outside somewhere. I need to talk to you about what's happening, what she's doing to your family. I sat up straighter. The fog in my head cleared instantly. I'm listening. Not on the phone. Can you meet me somewhere? Tomorrow. Today, I mean. Later, today. Where are you right now? In my car, outside their Christmas party. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I left early. Told them I was sick. But I couldn't. I couldn't watch it anymore. Watch what? The way she talks about you when you're not there. The way she's rewriting everything. Mr. Bennett, my family has seen this before. My pulse kicked up. Seen what before? This pattern, the isolation, the narrative control. She did it to her ex-boyfriend's family. Convinced him his mother was toxic. Within a year, he'd cut off everyone. Parents, siblings, childhood friends, everyone except her. I stood up, started pacing. What happened to him? He's married to her best friend Nova now, living 3 states away. Works for Nia's father. I've seen him exactly twice in 5 years. He looks... She struggled for the word. Empty. Like someone hollowed him out and is wearing his skin. The hair on my arms stood up. Hope, why are you calling me? Why now? Because I watched her tonight, at dinner. She made this toast. Her voice cracked. She thanked everyone for helping Cody become his authentic self and for supporting his journey away from toxic masculinity and outdated family patterns. Everyone clapped, and Cody just sat there, smiling like a puppet. Jesus. My brother Ezra tried to warn the family about her once, 3 years ago. He said she was manipulative, controlling, that she engineered situations to make people look bad so she could be the hero who protected her partners from them. Hope laughed bitterly. They didn't believe him, called him jealous. Nia cried, said he'd always hated her, that he made her feel unsafe. And now Ezra doesn't come to family functions. Last I heard, he moved to Portland, won't return phone calls. We lost him. I pressed my palm against my forehead. You think she's doing the same thing to Cody? I don't think, Mr. Bennett. I know, and I know because I've been documenting it. That word, documenting, it hit different. What do you mean? Screenshots, voice memos. I've been saving everything for 8 months. Every group chat message where she talks about you. Every time she tells a story that I know isn't true because I was there. Every contradiction. Why? Because nobody believed us about Ezra. But this time, I have proof, and I'm not letting another person disappear from their own family without a fight. I looked at the clock. 2:23 a.m. Christmas morning. My son was 8 miles away at a party where his fiancée was giving toasts about liberating him from me. What do you need from me? I asked. I need you to not react. Not yet. If you confront Cody now, she'll use it as proof that you're unstable, that you're dangerous. She's already laying that groundwork. What groundwork? Hope's voice went flat. 2 weeks ago, she told my grandmother that you make her uncomfortable, that you stare at her in a way that feels predatory, that you've made comments about her body. The room tilted. That's a goddamn lie. I know it's a lie, but my grandmother doesn't. And if you show up angry, demanding answers, you'll look exactly like the man Nia's been describing. You'll prove her story true. So what do? You wait, you stay calm, and you meet me at Morelli's Diner on Route 9 tomorrow, today, at 2 p.m. I'll show you everything, and then we'll make a plan. Hope. My voice was rough. Why are you doing this? Silence. Then, because I listened to your voicemail. What? Cody's old phone, the one from high school. Nia made him throw it away last month, but I grabbed it from the trash. I charged it, and I listened to your voicemails. Every single one. Her voice broke. You called him every Sunday for 4 years while he was in college, just to check in, just to hear his voice, and in every message you ended the same way. Love you, son. Proud of you. Always. I couldn't speak. That's not a toxic father. That's not outdated masculinity. That's love. And I'll be damned if I let her erase that. The line went dead. I stood there in my living room, phone pressed to my ear, listening to silence. And for the first time in 7 days, I felt something other than grief. I felt something sharp and clear and useful. I felt purpose. Morelli's Diner. 2 p.m. Christmas Day. The place was nearly empty. Just a few lonely souls nursing coffee, avoiding wherever home had become. I got there 15 minutes early. Ordered black coffee I didn't drink. Watched the door. Hope arrived exactly on time. Mid-20s, dark hair pulled back, carrying a leather messenger bag like she was heading to a legal deposition. In a way, she was. She slid into the booth across from me. No pleasantries, straight to business. Before I show you anything, I need you to promise me something. Her eyes were hard. You don't tell Cody I'm involved. If she finds out I'm helping you, I'm cut off too, and then nobody's on the inside feeding you information. You have my word. She studied my face, decided I meant it, pulled out her laptop. I'm going to show you things that will make you angry. You need to stay calm. Can you do that? I'd spent 23 years in the Army, 13 months in Kandahar. I knew how to compartmentalize rage. Show me. She opened a folder labeled Documentation, 100-plus screenshots. She started with the oldest. March 15th, Family Group Chat. Nia. Had dinner at Cody's dad's place. Felt really uncomfortable. He kept staring at me. Nova, her sister. Staring how? Nia. Just intensely, like studying me. Made my skin crawl. I remembered that dinner. I'd asked her about her graduate program. Made eye contact like a normal human having a conversation. That was it. April the 3rd. Nia. Cody's dad called him 3 times today. Is that normal? Feels obsessive. It was Cody's birthday. I'd called twice, once in the morning to sing happy birthday like I'd done for 31 years, once in the evening to see if he got the gift I'd mailed. May 20th. Nia. He told a story about Cody's childhood that made me really uncomfortable. Something about bath time when he was little? Who talks about that? I closed my eyes, remembered that story. Cody was 4. He'd decided he was a submarine and stayed underwater so long I'd panicked and pulled him out. He'd laughed his head off. Thought it was hilarious that he'd scared me. It was a story about a father's love. She'd made it sound like something else entirely. Hope scrolled faster. The messages got worse. June 10th. Nia. I don't feel safe being alone with him. Something about his energy. July the 2nd. Nia. He made a comment about my dress, said I looked lovely, but the way he said it felt wrong. August 15th. Stella, grandmother. Honey, are you sure you're not reading too much into things? Arlo seems like a nice man. Nia. That's what everyone said about my friend's stepdad. Before. She'd left it hanging there, let them fill in the blank with their worst assumptions. This is character assassination, I said quietly. This is strategy, Hope corrected. Watch what happens next. She pulled up messages from September. Cody's first appearance. Cody. Guys, my dad is harmless. He's just old school. Doesn't know how to talk to women without being a little awkward. Nia. Baby, I know you want to defend him, but you grew up in that environment. Sometimes we can't see the red flags when we're raised in them. I watched my son, start to doubt his own reality. September 20th. Cody. Talked to my therapist about Dad. She said enmeshment is real, that it's okay to set boundaries. Therapist. She'd gotten him into therapy. Nothing wrong with that, except... Check the timestamp on this. Hope pulled up another message. Same day. 3 hours earlier. Nia to Nova. Private chat. Convinced C to see Dr. Brennan. She's good. Helped me with the Michael situation. Michael, the ex-boyfriend, the one who'd been hollowed out. She referred him to her therapist, I said slowly. A therapist who already believes her version of events. A therapist who specializes in trauma from family systems. Hope's voice was acid. Every session is just Nia's narrative, reinforced by a professional. She pulled up the final screenshot. From 3 days ago. December 22nd. Group chat. Nia. I know this is hard, but I need to be honest. I don't feel comfortable with Arlo at Christmas. I've been having panic attacks thinking about it. Cody and I talked, and he agrees. We need to protect our peace. Stella. Oh, honey, of course. Your mental health comes first. Nova. So proud of you for setting boundaries. Cody. Thanks for understanding, everyone. This wasn't easy, but Nia's comfort is my priority. I stared at that last line. My son had written that, believed it, made it his truth. She isolated you in 8 months, Hope said quietly. Created a narrative. Reinforced it through repetition. Got him into therapy with someone who'd validate her story. And then made him choose between your relationship and her mental health. She closed the laptop. You can't fight mental health claims. You can't prove a negative. She's made you guilty of crimes that exist only in her telling of them. So, what do I do? Hope leaned forward. You don't defend yourself. Defense looks like guilt. Instead, her phone buzzed. She looked down. Face went pale. What? She turned the phone toward me. Text from Cody. Hope, did you leave something at my place? Found your earring behind the couch? Also, weird question. Have you talked to my dad recently? Hope's hands were shaking. She knows, she whispered. Nia knows I'm helping you. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about saving my son. This was about protecting the one person brave enough to tell the truth. Comment below if you've ever risked everything to expose a lie. Subscribe, because Chapter 5 is where Hope and I build a plan, and it involves something Nia never saw coming. A dinner, a grandmother, and a witness she thought she'd already erased. Hit that bell icon. This war just went tactical. My son disinvited me from Christmas, all for his fiancée's comfort. Hope stared at the text from Cody. Her face had gone white. Don't respond, I said quietly. Not yet. But if she suspects, then we move faster. I leaned forward. You said you had a plan. What is it? She took a breath, steadied herself. Grandmother Stella's birthday dinner, February 14th, Valentine's Day. She's turning 82. The whole family will be there, including Cody and Nia, including everyone. Hope's eyes sharpened. Stella doesn't know about Nia's campaign against you. She met you once at the engagement party, remember? She liked you, called you a real gentleman. I remembered. Stella Castellano, old-school Italian matriarch, the kind of woman who commanded respect just by entering a room. If I can get you invited, Hope continued, and you show up being exactly who you are, kind, normal, respectful, it breaks Nia's narrative in front of the one person she can't manipulate. Why can't she manipulate Stella? Because Stella already watched someone do this to her own family. Hope's voice dropped. Nia's mother did the exact same thing 30 years ago. Isolated Stella's son from his own parents. Stella lost 2 years with him before he finally saw through it. She knows the playbook. The pieces clicked into place. Generational pattern? Exactly. Nia learned it from watching her mother, and Stella will recognize it the second she sees it happening again. So I come to dinner, act normal, and wait for Nia to slip up. Not just slip up. Hope pulled out her phone, showed me a contact. Ezra, do not delete. We bring back the ghost. Valentine's Day. Stella's house in the suburbs. White colonial with black shutters. The kind of home that had hosted 50 years of family dinners. I parked 2 blocks away. Waited. Hope had gotten me invited through Stella directly, framing it as a chance to include Cody's father in our family circle. Stella had agreed immediately. Nia didn't know until yesterday. My phone buzzed. Hope. She's freaking out. Told Cody you'd ruin the dinner. He told her to be civil. Doors unlocked. Come in through the kitchen. Stella wants to meet you first. I walked up the driveway. My heart was hammering, but my hands were steady. 23 years of walking into hostile territory had trained me for this. Stella was in the kitchen, stirring sauce. Tiny woman, barely 5 feet, but her presence filled the room. Arlo. She wiped her hands on her apron, looked me dead in the eye. You're the father. Yes, ma'am. Hope tells me my granddaughter has been unkind to you. I chose my words carefully. I think there's been some miscommunication. Stella snorted. Miscommunication? That's polite. She turned back to the stove. My daughter did the same thing to me once. Told my son I was controlling, overbearing. Made him choose between his wife and his mother. You know what I did? What? I waited, stayed kind, let the truth reveal itself. She glanced back at me. Truth always does eventually. Lies require maintenance. They fall apart under pressure. I'm not here to cause trouble. Good, because you're going to sit at my table, eat my food, and be a goddamn gentleman. and we'll see what happens when someone who's been painted as a monster acts like a human being. The doorbell rang. Voices in the hallway. My stomach clenched. Stella squeezed my shoulder. Show time. The dining room. 20 people. Hope and her parents. Nova and her husband. Cousins I didn't know. And there, at the far end of the table, Cody and Nia. Cody saw me. His face cycled through shock, anger, confusion. Nia saw me. Her face went perfectly blank. Then she smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "Arlo," she said warmly. "What a surprise." I smiled back. "Happy birthday, Stella. Thanks for including me." Nia's hand tightened on Cody's arm. He looked between us, uncertain. Dinner proceeded. I was charming, asked about people's jobs, their kids, their lives, complimented the food, told exactly one story about Cody's childhood, the time he won the third-grade spelling bee and called me from school, breathless with pride. Cody's eyes softened at the memory. Nia's jaw tightened. Halfway through the main course, Nova asked Nia about the wedding plans. "We're thinking destination," Nia said brightly. "Somewhere small, intimate, just close family." "Will Arlo be invited?" Stella asked innocently. The table went quiet. Nia's smile froze. "We're still finalizing the guest list." "Because he's Cody's father," Stella pressed. "Seems like close family to me." "It's complicated, Grandma," Nia said tightly. "Uncomplicated." I watched Nia's mask crack, just slightly. "Arlo and I have a difficult dynamic. I don't feel comfortable." "Comfortable?" Stella set down her fork. "That's the same word your mother used about me, before she tried to erase me from your uncle's life." Nia's face flushed red. "That's completely different." "Is it?" Stella looked around the table. "Hope, where's your brother tonight?" Hope met her grandmother's eyes. "Ezra couldn't make it." "Because?" "Because Nia told the family he made her feel unsafe 3 years ago, and everyone believed her, and now he doesn't come to family dinners anymore." The room erupted. "Hope!" Nova started. "No." Hope stood up, pulled out her phone. "I have 8 months of screenshots. Nia systematically destroying Arlo's relationship with Cody, the same way she destroyed Michael's relationship with his family, the same way she erased Ezra from ours." "You've been spying on me?" Nia's voice went shrill. "I've been documenting the truth." Cody's face was pale. "Hope? What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that she's been telling everyone your father is predatory, controlling, dangerous, and none of it is true." The front door opened. Everyone turned. Ezra walked in. Older than his photos. Tired, but standing tall. "Hello, family," he said quietly. "I heard you might finally be ready to listen." Nia stood up so fast her chair fell backward. "I'm not doing this. Cody, we're leaving." But Cody didn't move. He was staring at Ezra like he'd seen a ghost. "You told me Ezra was dangerous," Cody said slowly to Nia. "That he'd threatened you." "He did." "No." Ezra's voice was steady, sad. "I told the family you were isolating your boyfriend, that you'd cut him off from everyone who loved him, and for that, you told them I'd cornered you at a party, made you uncomfortable. You cried. They believed you. And I lost my family." Cody looked at Nia. Really looked at her. "Is that true?" "I don't have to explain myself to— Is it true?" The mask shattered. "You were all suffocating him," Nia screamed. "Your constant check-ins, your expectations, your judgment. I freed him from that." "By lying about me?" I said quietly. She spun toward me. "You made me uncomfortable. The way you looked at me. The questions. Like you were trying to find something wrong with me." "I was trying to know you," I said, "because you're marrying my son." Stella stood, tiny but towering. "Nia, I want you to leave my home." "Cody!" Nia grabbed his arm. He pulled away. "Did you lie about my father?" I protected you. Did you lie? Silence. Then, quietly, venomously, he was in the way. Cody stood up, walked past her, stopped in front of me. Dad. His voice cracked. I'm so sorry. I pulled my son into a hug, felt him shake, held him like I'd held him at 5, at 10, at 15, at every moment he'd ever needed his father. I've got you, I whispered. I've always got you. Nia left. Alone. No dramatic exit, no final speech, just gone. 3 months later, my kitchen table, Sunday morning, Cody sitting across from me eating pancakes I'd made, his favorite kind, blueberry. Therapy's helping, he said. The real therapist, not Dr. Brennan. Good. I'm processing how she changed me, made me doubt everything I knew about you, about myself. I poured more coffee. You're here now, that's what matters. Hope and Ezra are coming over later. Movie night? Sounds good. He hesitated. I got a text from Nia yesterday. She's engaged to someone else already. How do you feel about that? Relieved. For him, I hope he has people who'll fight for him like you fought for me. He met my eyes. I never thanked you for not giving up. Son. I reached across the table, took his hand. Giving up on you was never an option. Later that night, Cody, Hope, Ezra, my brother Dean and me, crowded on the couch watching a terrible action movie and laughing at the explosions. My phone buzzed. Text from Stella. Sunday dinner next week? Whole family, including you, always. I looked around my living room, at my son, at the family we'd rebuilt from Nia's ruins. I typed back, wouldn't miss it. Because that's the thing about tables. Some people use them to divide. But the right people, they use them to gather. And I'd finally found my people. If this story moved you, if you've ever fought for family, been erased by lies, or survived someone's narrative, drop a comment telling me your story. Subscribe for more true confessionals. And share this with someone who needs to know you are not the villain in someone else's story. You are the hero in your own. Thank you for sitting at my table. See you next one.